Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. And how do you do? Ooh, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. And God loves you. Ooh, ooh. Welcome to the Free to Hope conversation with Edwina B. That's right, y'all. Miss Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. My God woke me up this morning and said, Rise, Edwina. There's a message I need you to give to your viewing audience now and or later. Because this topic, woo, is what's going to set the world on fire because it challenged each and every one of us. Are we willing, able to help others? Okay. So for that, I'm going to give him the honor, the praise, the glory, the hallelujah, the worship, and most importantly, the acknowledgement for waking me up this morning. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm going. I done got on fire already, y'all. Y'all just hold on. Let me get that fan. All right, hold on, hold on. Woo! Lord have mercy. I tell you. Woo! I got to get that fan. And so, because my God chose me this morning to engage in a very, very serious conversation this morning that is heavy on my heart due to the recent passing of my sister, niece, Helen Sabrina Hall. So, I want you to get your coffee. I want you to ask God to quiet your spirit. And I want you to listen with your spiritual ears, right? And see with your spiritual eyes. I want you to practice not focusing on the messenger, but focusing on the message, okay? And I contribute to being able to do what I just asked you by applying spiritual principles, tools, and resources I've been using for the past 34 plus years, starting out with my journal that I kept the first 4 years in recovery from substance abuse and mental illness, being introduced from underneath a park car to a 12-step spiritual program entitled Alcoholics Anonymous within a spiritual fellowship, and then the spiritual revival hour that I spent with the late Dr. Benjamin Twinby Brown. I'm smiling because I'm sitting in front of the same bed that Dr. Benjamin Twinby Brown laid in before he transitioned, as well as the same bed my sister Helen passed in on July the 19th. So it's ironic, right? No, it's not ironic. It's God destiny, right? God given destiny. And so, as a result of the spiritual revival hour gospel songs that I would listen to on a twin show, songs of inspiration, consolation, meditation, and more importantly, education, that I was able to now change the channel from RB to 99.9% of gospel music that feeds my spirit, whereas the other ones, they feed my flesh. I know the difference now, right? Even though I love my oldies, there's times I can only listen to that for a short period of time because I know I'm authentic and I'm transparent, but I love my oldies, okay? But I love praising my Lord, my Savior, right? And I love giving him the acknowledgement because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sitting here before you this morning. Now, the 5 agreements by the Ruiz family: be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make any assumptions, always do your best, And last but not least, be skeptical, but learn to listen. The transformational teachings by Dr. Sonia of P3 Global. And when I share this morning, I'm going to include this quote: if you didn't come from a wealthy family, let a wealthy family come to you, come from you. And you'll see why when I get into our topic today. All right. And so I thank God for the spiritual tools, resources, and principles that are at my beck and call when I need to apply them to all earthly matters, including the transition of our loved ones. Okay. And so let me begin by saying I want to thank all of you for your prayers, your support, your acknowledgement regarding my niece, my sister, Helen Sabrina Hall. And I want to also say to God be the glory. And when we talk about our topic today, right, it is the title of helping others. So you see on the screen, those who got Facebook and LinkedIn, and you don't see it on Instagram, but it's a PowerPoint page that says Helen Sabrina Hall Memorial Service Announcement, Saturday, August the 10th, 2024, from noon to 3:30 p.m. at Canaan Baptist Church, 3011 Newcastle Avenue, Newcastle, Delaware 19720, where our pastor, the Reverend Dr. Christopher Allen Bullock. What you also see on the screen and not on Instagram is a request. I'm asking for help. I'm asking my social media family for donations on behalf of my sister slash niece Helen Hall's memorial services that I just mentioned will be August the 10th at Canaan Baptist Church. And I'm asking for donations for a reason. I need help. I need help. I need help. You know, when it talks about our topic today of helping others, well, this time God has blessed me to help many people, honored and humbled that I was chosen and prepared. And even though I did this because somebody helped me, many people helped me in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, my 12-step program, and other areas of my life. Okay. And so when I say that I need help, it's because I need it. you know, um, there was a time in my life when I was taught by women in my life, my mother, particularly my Aunt Margaret, that a woman never needs to be broke. However, that pathway led to destruction um, of my mind, body, and spirit. And because of my involvement in a 12-step spiritual program, I've learned to ask for help when I need it. And so it's amazing how this particular topic today, helping others, I had to smile when I saw the title from the daily reflection readings of helping others, which is today's topic. Okay. So I want to put this on pause and I'm going to go to the reading today. And then I'm going to come back to my requests for help that I need. I always believe that the spiritual answers will come forth when I am obedient. And so, as much as I want to keep the focus right now on my sister, niece, Helen Sabrina Hall, the Spirit is yielding me to go to the topic today entitled Helping Others. So, I'm going to be obedient and I'll come back to this in a few. All right. So, let me remove this and let me bring forth the topic for today's discussion. All righty? Okay. So it says here, July the 24th, A.A. Della Reflections, Helping Others. Our founder, one of our co-founders, takes a quote from Alcoholics Anonymous Big Book, page 20, that states, our very lives as ex-problem drinkers depend upon our constant thought of others and how we may help meet their needs. And the person in recovery shares his perspective and states, self-centeredness was my problem. All my life, people had been doing things for me, and I not only expected it, but I was ungrateful and resentful they didn't do it. Good morning, Tonda. Hey, Silky Love. Why should I help others when they were supposed to help me? If others had troubles, didn't they deserve them? I was filled with self pity, anger, and resentment. Then I learned that by helping others with no thought of returns, I could overcome this obsession with selfishness. And if I understood humility, I would know peace and serenity. No longer do I need to drink. All right. So let's dissect this baby, okay? Um, Helping others. Now, many of you know I am a part of a 12-step spiritual program, and I attend a Canaan Baptist Church, my religious affiliation, right, that enhances my spirituality. I quote unquote do not embrace religion, but I embrace spirituality. But at the same time, my spirit, the spirit that God gave me in a dream, said I needed a shepherd and I needed a church family. And Canaan Baptist Church with Dr. Christopher Allen Bullock has been the chosen one for going on 19 years of my 34 years in recovery. So the reason why is because underneath that parked car 34 plus years ago in the streets of Philadelphia, I cried out to a God that I didn't know to help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. Yes, help me. And that God that I didn't know to the extent that I know now helped me because I asked. And in essence, I really was demanding because my cry was, whoever they say you are, take me out this life or show me a better way. Have there been a time in your life? Has there been a time in your life when you got to the point where no human power could help you, where no human power could relieve what you were going through? No human power. Have you gotten there? Have you been there several times? Well, guess what? That time for me was on February the 22nd of 1990, 3 o'clock in the morning, where all my willpower, where all my self-centeredness, where all of my ego and my pride thought I can help me, that I can do, I'm the great I am, failed me completely. They left me. And because those spirits use the same vessel that my God created, right? They used it for the destruction of my spirit, of my life, until I had that knee bowing experience. And hopefully you have had it too. And I'm talking about time only, one time only will you have that knee bowing experience like I did that will turn your life, my life around to the point where I know who I am and I know whose I am and I know where my help come from. It took a while to learn, but guess what? That is called life and that is called the process. And so have you ever reached a point where you cried out, help me, help me, right? And beyond human availability or beyond human power, no human power, and it says it in our 12 step program, no human power could have relieved our alcoholism, but God could and would if he was sought. Okay. So when I think about that moment, when I cried out for help, that was in a very humiliating situation that my God said, yes, I got you where I want you, which brought about humility out of desperation to say, I can't do this by myself. I can't do it. I don't have the power. And so God in his infinite wisdom knew the time, the day that I would surrender, and I say surrender all. All those other times were preparation time for that one and only surrender, where I know where my help come from. All right, so it's amazing how with this reading today, it says here, right? Let's dissect this baby. It says our very lives as ex-problem drinkers depend upon our constant thought of others and how we may help meet their needs. Huh? So for 34 plus years and having that those spiritual experiences that brought about spiritual awakenings, that brought about many spiritual breakthroughs, that brought about a psychic change, that brought about a psychic change in my thinking and my behavior and my attitudes, right? And the fourth step inventory of the 12 step program talks about going back um, in our past to find out where attitudes, ideas, and behaviors were first formulated. And I'm going to tell you, y'all, my mother used to say, Edwina was a helper. Even as a child, my mama said, Edwina was a helper. So God already knew, he already knew what he placed in me, right? I didn't know. And then as a child, I just what? Mommy, you need that? Mommy, you want this? Mommy, you need that, right? And you know, there were times in my life I didn't even like my mother. I didn't like my mother. I loved my mother, but I didn't like my mother because she got too much attention from my daddy, you know. And so anyway, being a part of this 12-step spiritual program, I learned similar to this gentleman and what it's saying that if my God did for me what no other human being could do, and he did it because he loved me, he loves me, then why would I not be willing and able to be of service to others, particularly those who suffer from co-occurring disorders of mental illness and substance abuse? But it also says in our literature that all human beings are ill to some extent. All human beings are ill to some extent. So the point that I have been attending my 12-step program every day in one way, shape, form, or fashion has prepared me, right, to be of service to others unconditionally. Unconditionally. Woo, that's a test, right? Unconditionally compared to the way I was raised and the things that I thought you help me, I help you, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. That's not God's way. That is not God's way. Okay. And I'm glad that I went through in order to go through, in order to get through, right? And my spiritual elevation and my spiritual wisdom to understand what it means helping others, helping others, okay? And so, can you remember when you cried out, "Help me," and he provided the help? Did you, as a token of appreciation, was willing to help others? Oh boy, I tell you, I'm going to get down and dirty in this one, right? All right, so let's get to what the person says. He says here, self-centeredness was my problem. Huh? Self-centeredness was my problem. Self-centeredness was my problem. Think about it, y'all. Self-centeredness was my problem. Yes, it was. It was all about me. It was all about me. And human nature helps to make you think it's all about you, right? But listen to what this gentleman says. He says, right, all my life, people had been doing things for me, and I not only expected it, but I was ungrateful and resentful they didn't do more. Oh my, you little self-centered. But but it's the truth. It's the truth, right? Free from recovery, emerge empowered to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. When you have had your knee bowing experience and you look back over your life, you will see during that fourth step inventory how ego, pride, self centeredness was the core of our spiritual illness. Yes, that manifested in our thinking, right? And our language and our thoughts and our behaviors and our actions. Oh, yes. You don't have to listen to what people say. All we have to do is listen to the behavior. My dad used to abuse my mom, and afterwards he would show her affection, and he would use the words, "You know I love you," right? And confusion set in as a child because I hear what you say, but I'm listening to what you do. All right. And so when we talk about having the expectations of people doing for us, and when you get in a room full of people and everybody think the same thing, oh my God, you talking about clashes, you talking about chaos, you talking about murder, what? Everybody want their own way. Who is going to yield? Who is going to be humble? Who has been given the spirit of discernment? Who in that room? Well, because of my spiritual principles, tools, and resources, I am one of them. All right. So he goes on to say, right, why should I help others when they were supposed to help me? Now, I don't know about you, and that character defect is still in me, but not to the degree that it runs my life, right? It's just my human nature automatically says, well, I expect you to do what I did for you. No, because if I did it for you, it was not without conditions, and that is a sinful nature, right? And so I am and have learned that to a higher degree, but I recognize it when that defect falls into my spirit, and I use step 7 to humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings, right? All right. So how many of you, right, do things for others and you may not admit it? No, I don't want nothing. No, I don't. No, I'm okay. No, it's okay. It's right, okay. And then come time for you to need or you to want, and you ask, and they tell you no. They say, well, and then we as humans get what? Hmm? We feel it. I've told you I'm transparent and I'm authentic. Yes, we initially feel it. Yes, we do. If you say you don't, then the spiritual principles, right, come over me, and I was like, you're right, you're right. Lower, listen to this, y'all. Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen. Lower your expectations and raise your acceptance level. Do you hear that? Lower your expectations and raise your acceptance. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, right? And so when we talk about the reading today, let's go back. Let me take this back off. I ain't ready for you, Helen, okay? It says here, right? If others had trouble, didn't they deserve them? I was filled with self-pity, anger, and resentment. Then, here's the hit, y'all. Then I learned that by helping others with no thought of return, I could overcome this obsession with selfishness. And if I understood humility, I would know peace and serenity. Oh my God, that is a whole lot to digest. So let's digest that, baby. Okay, so it says here, right? Then I learned that by helping others. Now we're talking about from a spiritual angle, right? Once we go through our humanness and our physical, conceitedness, self-centeredness, once we enter into the realm, the spiritual realm of helping others, whether you know it or not, right? And what I've learned is that by applying these spiritual tools, resources, and principles to all earthly matters, right? My goal is to be of service to others because that's what we were born to do. Look at Christ. I mean, come on now. Huh? What better example? To be of service to others, all right? And so it says, then I learned that by helping others. I learned. See, that means I had to get some additional information to weed out the negativity, the pride, the ego, the selfishness, the self-centeredness, right? Because if I did not replace that with spiritual information, right, spiritual knowledge, right, then how could I have learned, right, learned that by helping others, here's the hit, with no thought of return? True, Lord, are you talking to me? Am I talking to you? Hey, this is my niece's band. I took off her head before they took her out of here. So this is my my crown, right? I'm wearing her crown, okay? And so with no thought of return. Some of you say, yeah, right. Okay, and guess what? I used to say, yeah, right, too, but I don't say it now. I don't say it now because of my actions that I have been prepared to be of service and to help others in ways that I didn't think I was even capable of. Okay? All right, I get more into that, but let's finish this, right? With no thought of return, I could overcome this obsession with selfishness. I was in the hospital the other day, and I think it was Mother Teresa or Gandhi or something. They said, if you ever wanted to learn more about yourself, be of service to others. That's how you learn about yourself, by being of service to others, right? And so he said, I could overcome the obsession with selfishness. And if I understood humility, I would know peace and serenity. I would know peace and serenity, okay? So no longer do I need to drink. So drinking is not an option for me. One day at a time, never again, But what I do need to say, right? And let me put my niece's picture back up here. What I do need to share, right, is that in my being prepared to be of service to others came in a amazing way. I say that because, right? I did not know that I had the caregiving characteristics in me. However, I should have, because my mother told me that I was always a helper, right? And so through my years in recovery, I've learned by utilizing principles, tools, and resources that are of a spiritual nature how to practice caring, loving, right? Helping without anything without asking for anything in return, right? You heard the word practice, right? And so mine came through being a caregiver. And so when we talk about family, when we talk about family, our biological family, there is a lot to learn. And when we talk about our biological family, we at one point when we have our knee bowing experience, because this is when you'll get the spiritual revelations that you need to deal with our biological family. And God chose our family. Mhm. God chose our parents, our siblings. God chose our family. And so, reason being, there is something about each of the family members that our spirits need to learn from one another. That's what I've learned. Okay. And so, I've learned through my process of taking care of 10 family members, 10 family members, and one outside member, and that was Benjamin Twimby Brown. So I've been able, through my 12 spiritual tools, resources, and principles, to be of service to 11 individuals, 10 of which were family members. And I say were because they have all transitioned. And when I think about my biological family, I often say to myself, I wonder who's going to step up to the plate. I wonder who is going to take the horn, the bull by the horn, right, and step up to the plate. Who's going to be the first to volunteer to help others, particularly in your family? And so I watched my mother. My mother is my example. My mother. Mm-hmm. And it's because of my mother's upbringing, being adopted and being, not even adopted, being given away and not knowing who her siblings was and thinking that her parents were her parents when in reality they wasn't, and how she vowed that she will never separate her children, right? I don't care if we had to sleep in one room, on the floor, on top of one another. She vowed never to separate her children. And she kept that promise. And so watching my mother not only embrace her children, but embrace others as well. So as I grew up and as we grew up, my mother house was open to all her family members and sometimes friends, but particularly her family members, right? My mother would always say, come on, this is her finger. My mom would always say, come on, come on. We'll work it out. Don't worry about it. Come on, we'll work it out. And so lo and behold, and reviewing my past history of growing up, attitudes, ideas, and behaviors, to being underneath that parked car 34 plus years ago, and now to have been chosen to take care of 11 people just in the circle of health, right? 10 of them were on hospice in one way, shape, form, or fashion, and even Benjamin Twimby Brown, right? And for me to have been chosen, I was chosen because I, of the family members, now know, except that I was prepared But this is way before I accepted that, because early on I too had resentments and anger and about why nobody is doing this and why nobody is doing that and why this and why that, yeah, da, all that talk, right? I mean, listen, I went through it. Yes, I did. And guess what? I went to my meetings every day and I shared about it every day and I prayed about it every day. But guess what I kept doing? I kept helping, because my strength came from my God and my 12-step spiritual principles, tools, and resources, and all the other spiritual things that were available to me. And so when I talk about family, I had to realize this, that my family extends beyond my biological family. I consider my 12-step fellowship my family. I consider my congregation. Some of them, they don't like me. I mean, it's okay, but I consider them my family too, right? Because I've learned that, see, I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Pops, and I am me. I'm just me. I just can't help it, and I love the fact that I'm transparent and authentic, right? But when it comes to let my work speak for itself, I've been prepared for this. And so now, when it comes down to reaching out to your biological family for help, some will step up to the plate, some will make excuses, some will hide, some will run, some will ignore you, some will talk about you, some will beat you up. So guess what, right? So I have learned that you, you, you are my family. Those who listen to me every morning, those who encourage me to keep going, those who who gives me the strength to keep coming on, even in the midst of what is going on in my life. And y'all also need to know that these are happy tears. So don't get it twisted. These are happy freaking tears. Yes, they are. They are happy tears, because I know now where my help come from and who God is going to put in my path, right, to help and be helped from. I know that now. And so I pray that God's will be done in each and everyone's life that he has created, because with or without our permission, God's will is going to be done. Okay? And so, having taken and been given this honor to be of service to help others. Oh, I tell you, boy, my guy got a sense of humor, right? But the beauty of it is, because of the 12 spiritual principles, tools, and resources, right? Because of them, right? I'm able to do what I do, right? And I'm able to do what I do with love and care. Now, it doesn't mean I don't get upset and I don't, I do, but that will pass, because once I apply spiritual principles, tools, and resources to my self-centeredness, my self-pity, listen, I get off the pot. I don't either poop or get off the pot, right? I get off the pot, right? Because I know the answer. I know the answer, and I know who has the answer. And so at this point, I'm reaching out to my social media family. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Uh-huh. Trust me, I've already reached out to my biological family. Ooh, and it's okay. It's okay. God grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, courage to change the person that I can, and the wisdom to know that that person is me. So I'm reaching outside of my biological family to those who are willing and able, without any hesitation, without any guilt, without any remorse, without, right? Without. If you have the least doubt, then please, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. No. No. But if the Spirit has touched you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, I am asking my social media family to contribute to the memorial services I planned for my niece, Sister Helen Sabrina Hall. And because both of her parents are deceased, her grandparents are deceased, she yet has 5 grandchildren. She was on SSI, Social Security, but she was living at the Regency because I couldn't fully take care of her here. So they took all her money. And so I will provide everything I have, even, even if I have to sell some things in order to raise this money. I'm glad I ain't got to sell me. I told you I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. You know that saying, you never have to be broke. Oh, hell to the no. No, I ain't selling nothing. But I will give away, I will sell some things if I need to raise the money for her to have her memorial service. In addition to whatever extra I have, I can give to her 5 grandchildren, which is 1 girl and 4 boys. Okay. And so if again, because I gotta go to my meeting now, y'all. Y'all don't took me beyond. If it moves you, then send to $ free to hope, all one word, FREETOHOPE. That's my cash app. Whatever the Spirit tells you to give and to donate as a request from me, because my God has taught me a closed mouth never gets fed. My God has taught me that if I knock, the door will open. I believe that. I know that. I have faith that no matter what, it will be taken care of. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. But I also know that when I ask for help, I need it. Don't want it, but I need it. I know the difference now. And so I need help to pay for my sister niece services because my biological family some are helping the way they can and some, you know, but it doesn't pay the bill. All right. So let me just say that, right? So I need help in paying the bill for the services for my niece, sister, Helen Sabrina Hall. Okay. So let me say that I would love to invite you, right, to the memorial service is Saturday, August the 10th, 2024, and from noon to 3:30 p.m. And I'm going to say that Canaan Baptist Church, our church, came through. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Our church came through, y'all. They are providing. They are providing because we are members and because I know my pastor loves me and Helen too, but my church family showed up. And so the cost of the service and the repast that's going to be held at the church, right, is very, very minimum. And I thank God for that blessing. However, the other service, the cremation service, the program, the posters, this, and that, right, costs money. And that's what I need help with. All right. And so thank you, Canaan Baptist Church, for opening up your doors for your members and for giving us the best gift that you can give us unconditionally, to invite my family and friends to the memorial service of my niece, Helen Sabrina Hall. So, once again, if it touches you in any way, shape, or form, please cash app whatever you can towards the payment of services, and whatever else is left over will be divided equally among her grandchildren. To $ free to hope, $ free to hope, all one word. Um, and I will greatly appreciate it. And some people want to be acknowledged, some people don't. But it is what it is. But I'm reaching out to my social media family. Okay, I need your help, and I want your help to be unconditional, because I have learned that anything that I expect is not spiritual. Anything that I accept is spiritual. And so I'm going to say in closing, I love you, you love me. We are one big old family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too? You see the bed behind me? The body is no longer there, but I know where the spirit is. To God be the glory. If it's God's will that we be rejoined tomorrow, I'll be here, and I hope you will be too. In the meantime, be of service to others. Help somebody else, and make sure you do it unconditionally, with nothing to expect in return. God bless. Lord, I love you. I love you, Lord. I love you.